Asterisk, have you ever noticed how certain women never flirt in obvious ways? Instead of direct signals, they quietly observe your awareness and your presence. They watch how you respond, how grounded you are, and whether you notice subtle shifts in energy. When you are a man over 50, women often behave very differently around you. They do not want to look needy, and they do not want to seem overly available. Rather than risking rejection or appearing too forward, they choose a more subtle path. Instead of direct flirting, they ask specific questions that carry hidden meaning beneath the surface. Many men never realize this is happening. They assume the conversation is casual, polite, or friendly, when in reality, a door is being quietly opened. Many men over 50 believe they have become invisible to women, whether younger women or women their own age. That belief is not true. In fact, many mature men become more attractive with age, especially when they understand how female psychology works. The real issue is not a lack of attraction. The real issue is misinterpretation. Too many men assume she is just being friendly, when she is actually testing for connection. Women rarely express interest openly. Instead, they test emotional steadiness, presence, and awareness. They pay attention to whether a man is calm or reactive, grounded or insecure, open or emotionally closed. Feminine psychology operates beneath the surface, and when a woman begins to see a man as someone she could trust emotionally, physically, and intimately, her energy changes. Casual interaction shifts into intentional curiosity. At that point, she begins asking questions designed to uncover deeper truths about the man in front of her. These questions are not random. They are meant to reveal three things. She wants to understand a man's strength and stability. She wants to know whether he is emotionally grounded or secretly insecure. She wants to sense whether he has awareness, meaning the ability to recognize genuine interest rather than dismiss it. This is when two very specific questions almost always appear. To understand why they matter, it is important to understand how attraction is expressed differently today. Many men over 50 grew up in a time when communication was more direct. Interest was often stated clearly and signals were easier to recognize. Women today, including mature women, tend to express attraction in quieter ways. They rarely say they are attracted or that they want to move closer emotionally or romantically. Instead, they explore. They ask carefully chosen questions to determine whether a man is safe to move toward without risking embarrassment or rejection. One of the deepest feminine fears, especially when dealing with an older man, is appearing needy or unwanted. To avoid that risk, attraction is disguised as curiosity. When a woman asks these questions, she is not gathering information. She is feeling your emotional temperature. She wants to know if you are calm, steady, and emotionally open. She wants to sense whether you stand comfortably in your masculine presence or hide behind politeness and distance. These questions are not about facts. They are about connection. They act as emotional bridges, placed gently to see whether you notice them, and step forward with awareness. Most men answer these questions literally. A grounded and self-aware man hears what exists beneath the words. When she asks, she is checking alignment. She is checking awareness. She is checking whether you are present enough to recognize subtle interest. When a woman feels drawn to a man, she does not need proof of money, power, or past achievements. She needs to feel presence, emotional steadiness, and calm confidence. The first question she asks is designed to reveal availability. Not schedule availability, but emotional availability. She wants to know whether there is space in your life for connection. This question is psychological, not practical. It is her way of asking whether you are open or closed, whether you can connect or whether you hide behind routine and independence. Women do not like to waste emotional energy, so they test openness before revealing deeper interest. The second question concerns direction, not career status or accomplishments, but inner direction. She wants to know whether your life has purpose, momentum, and emotional stability. Women do not open themselves to men who drift aimlessly. They open to men who are anchored, men who know who they are and where they stand. This question allows her to sense whether you are emotionally alive, grounded, and capable of offering safety through your presence. These two questions are especially important for men over 50. Many women assume that, by this age, a man has already lived most of his emotional life. Because of that assumption, they hesitate unless they feel certain they will not be ignored or treated as an afterthought. These questions are her way of checking whether there is room for her, and whether the man she feels drawn to is living with intention rather than simply existing. The first question often sounds simple. Do you spend a lot of time alone? It may be phrased differently, such as asking whether you usually go out alone, whether you keep to yourself, or whether you are seeing anyone. This question is not about loneliness. It is about access. She asks it because she has already imagined herself near your life and wants to know whether stepping closer would be welcomed or resisted. A man who understands this responds with warmth and openness rather than defensiveness or detachment. The second question is often phrased as asking what you are looking for these days or what direction you are moving in. This is not casual conversation, it is evaluation. She is sensing your inner movement and emotional clarity. Women do not seek perfection, they seek presence. When a man answers with clarity and calm intention, she feels possibility. When he answers with confusion or emotional drift, she pulls back. These two questions are quiet but powerful. They appear across cultures, ages, and backgrounds because they arise naturally from feminine psychology. If you learn to recognize them, you no longer have to wonder whether a woman is interested. Women do not test your words, they test your awareness.